Hi friends, I'm Myra with Vial Designs, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit under the weather, but I still wanted to bring you this video because I'm sharing 5 different creative ways that you can letter September. I'm going to be trying a couple of different pens and markers, and I'm going to add the color numbers and links in the description down below in case you want to use the same ones that I'm using. But as always, use whatever you have at home. If you want to have the downloadable PDF of the styles that I'm doing in this video, as well as a traceable to have as a guide, I have that inside my Patreon community, as well as many lettering worksheets, doodling printables, and so much more. So if that's something that you like, I'm gonna add the link to my community in the description as well. Okay, let's get started. For the first lettering style, I'm gonna be using the Crayola Super Tips, and I'm doing September in bubble lettering, all uppercase. Now for this, I sketched everything in pencil, and then I went with my kneaded eraser and erased most of the pencil sketch. And I always like to do that because it makes it easier for me. At the end, I don't have to erase as much. I do have a couple of video tutorials for bubble lettering where I show you an easy trick that you can get bubble letters perfect every time. I also go over the uppercase, bubble lettering alphabet, lowercase, and I have a free worksheet, all the things. So be sure to check the links in the description. Also available inside my Patreon is a worksheet with all the months of the year in bubble lettering, as well as a lot of planner terms in bubble lettering. So if that's something that you want to learn, it is available to you. To outline everything, I'm using the Monoline Studio pens, and here I'm using a 03. I'm also doing a shadow with the same pen. So basically I'm just thickening the lines to the right and slightly to the bottom of each part of the letters. Once I'm done with the outline, I'm using a white gel pen and I'm adding these circles inside the letters. Now I think these circles are nice and big and it gives the bubble lettering like a retro vibe. I don't know, what do you think? This is just like extra details to make the bubble lettering even better. Now I wanted the letters to pop a little bit more, so I'm using this Pentel Sign brush pen. At first I was going to do a shadow, but then I decided to do a complete outline. For the second creative way to letter September, I'm still doing bubble lettering, but I'm combining the uppercase with lowercase, and I'm going to do a back to school style of lettering, decor inside the letters. The first one, I'm doing it as a pencil. I'm using the Karin Marker Pro. I'm going to add the numbers and names for reference in the description in case you have the Karin markers and want to use the same ones that I'm using here. For the E, I wanted to create like a paper style design, and I'm using the Shadow Art color pens for this. I'm using the baby blue to add the lines horizontal and then the red to add a vertical line. And I think it's really cool the effect that it has inside the letters. Now I went ahead and outlined the rest of the letters before I color them. And a quick tip is that you can use the sand eraser from Tumble to erase any markers mishap that you have in the page, just like you see here. And then I'm going back with my Karin brush marker to color the letter P, and then I'm gonna add these black dots in different sizes inside the P. Now, I do like to give a second coat with the Karin Brush Marker Pro and also with the Crayola Super Tips. I just sometimes don't like this streaky look that it gives when you have one coat. Two things that you have to keep in mind is your paper, because if you have thin paper, it might break it, or you're gonna have bleeding of the colors on the other side. I'm using a Archer and Olive notebook, so the paper is very thick, and that's why I can do a couple of coats when I'm coloring the letters. So that's something that you wanna keep in mind. And I'm using the pencil sign brush again to add a shadow. You add a line to the right and underneath every part of the letter. That's my favorite way to add shadows. And I do like this pencil brush pen to add shadows, but you can use any light gray color that you have. Moving on to the third way to creatively write September, I'm using the Karim Marker Pro in a soft peach 01. Now I wanted to do a shadow using this brown Crayola Super Tip, but the shadow I didn't like it because it was too thick. I tried to fix it by adding an outline, and it turned out even worse. Now, when this happened, I didn't want to do the whole thing again, so I wrote September again in another piece of paper that matches the same one that I have in my notebook, and I just pasted it over it. You know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I didn't want to start over, and I didn't want to give up on the project just because I didn't like the lettering style, so I just did it again and pasted it over. Now for the fourth way, I did a chunky block lettering style, and I use a green brush marker pro, the 172 blush, and then I use a Crayola Super Tip for the brown, and then I went back to the 01 monoline pen to do the outline. To end the decor on this lettering style, I added a line with the white gel pen. Usually when I do bubble lettering or chunky block lettering styles like this one, I like to do highlights, but I wanted to try something different for this tutorial, so that's why in the first way I added the circles, and then in here I added the line in the middle of the block letters. And I think it turned out pretty cool. Let me know which of the lettering styles that we're doing here for September is your favorite. And now, as always, I love to make the letters pop up with a shadow. Now, for the last creative way to letter September, since it is the bottom of the page, I like to have something to support my hand. And I have this pad from Archer and Olive that is perfect for that. For this, I wanted to do a blending with two different colors. So I'm using the 172 blush and the 195 Amber Green Brush Marker Pro. And basically what I did is I did the base with the lighter color, and then I'm layering the top color on the bottom part of the letters, and with the same lighter color I'm coloring again. How many times I'm saying coloring? I'm blending the two colors together, and that just helps it give it a more seamless transition between the two colors. As a final step to make the lettering pop up even more, I decided to use a monoline pen 01 instead of my brush pen, and I'm adding a line shadow. Basically, it's the same. I'm adding a line to the right and underneath every part of the letters, but this one is a drop shadow because I'm leaving a little bit of a space between the letter and the line shadow. If you want me to go deeper into any of these creative lettering styles, let me know in the comments. I can create a more in-depth tutorial and even go over the lowercase and uppercase letters of the alphabet for each of these lettering styles. So comment and let me know if that's something that you would like to see. You have it 5 creative lettering ideas for your bullet journal or planner this September. Remember, links to everything that I talked about are in the description, including the downloadable PDF that you can have as a guide with all the lettering styles that we cover in the video. And if you want even more creative lettering ideas, I have a full playlist where you can find different lettering styles for every month. I will link it here and I will see you there.